In this lecture, we're going to be talking about Banting Mayo. Okay, now store-bought mayonnaise is one of the easiest things to get hold of, and it's one of the most popular condiments. But it's full of seed oils, sugar, and preservatives. And to give you a little bit more insight into that, seed oils are inflammatory. They cause your arteries to become very irritated. Obviously, sugar causes obesity, and we're trying to get rid of that. We've devised a recipe here that is 100% safe and very, very high in good fat. So let's get started. To make a Banting Mayo, we're going to use two oils. The one is a macadamia oil. Macadamia oil has a very nutty flavor, but it's a very, very good oil, and it's very soft and light. And the other oil we're going to use is extra virgin olive oil. All right, so to get started, first thing we're going to do is add in our egg yolks. So you're going to separate your eggs. We just want the yolks. Our acidity we're going to get from apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is just it's a naturally fermented vinegar. It's really good for you. It's also one of the few vinegars that are easy to find in organic form, and obviously we're very pro-organic. So we're going to put 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in there. We're going to put in half a teaspoon of xylitol to just offset all the bitterness and acidity. So I'm just adding in 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then we're going to add in half a teaspoon of salt. Now, what I like to do is use a stick blender. You can use a whisk, but it's much easier to use a stick blender. At chef school, they told us we don't use machines because we are machines, but I disagree. No one's got that kind of time. So you'll see what we've got here is a really nice emulsion. The Dijon mustard and the egg yolks have combined really nicely. All that vinegar's got in there, and the vinegar is actually going to start cooking the egg yolk. Now that we've got that, you're going to find a good angle, and you're just going to pour the oil in, and off we go. And you can see it's emulsified almost too well. When your mayo gets really, really thick like this, one of the tricks you can do to thin it out is add hot water or more acidity. It just depends on the flavor. So I'm going to add in a little bit of hot water. And just pour that in and then blitz it again. And you can see it's gone nice and thin again. So one of the tricks I've got here, if you can see over there, when the blender's on, it creates a little dip. And to avoid the mayonnaise splitting, I'm going to pour the oil into that dip, because that dip is the suction of the mayonnaise going straight into the head of the blender. So we've made our basic mayo, and to avoid life getting too boring, I've got 3 different variations. The one is a curry mayonnaise, which is brilliant on sandwiches. I've got a tartar sauce, obviously the classic, and then something a little more exciting, a lime and wasabi mayo. So I'm going to start off with the tartar sauce. The classic tartar, it's got onion, some chopped gherkins, and some capers. So I'm just going to take a standard bowl of mayo and add this all in, just like that. You want it to be nice and chunky so it's got some texture. Then we're going to take a lemon. Got a little microplane. You don't have to add the zest. I'm just doing it because I saw the zester here in the background. But just add a little bit of zest. This is going to be really nice after a couple of days in the fridge because that zest's really going to let all of its flavors out into the oil. But the main reason I've got the lemon is for its juice. You want a little bit of extra acidity in there. So you can squeeze it through a sieve or use a juicer. I just do it like this and catch the seeds in my fingers. That's plenty. And finally, I'm just going to add in a nice little bit of parsley. Add it in there, and then just mix it through. And there you are. Just put that in a jar. Okay, that's the tartar sauce. The next one is the lime and wasabi. So lime and wasabi is very easy. Literally just take a good lime, get that zest in like we did with the lemon and the tartar sauce. Try and get a little bit more in now because the lime zest is really, really delicious. So I've got 1 lime there. Okay, and then you don't have to worry about the pips in limes. They don't have any seeds. Don't ask me how they reproduce. And then I'm going to add some chili. Now, if you want it to be quite fiery, you can leave the seeds in. Otherwise, you can take the seeds out. I want the fire. So I'm leaving them in. I also like chopping them slightly roughly so you get to see the little bits. There we've got our chili. And finally, wasabi. I think I'm just going to put 2 tablespoons in. So this is like a utility mayo. If you want something Asian, lime and wasabi mayo is the way to go. That's power. So if you don't want that much heat, you can remove the chilies. That's an optional extra, but that is just like dynamite. All right, I'm gonna put this in a jar and pack it away. We've got our last little batch of mayo. I always start with a cup, that's my basis. And then I've got a teaspoon of really good quality curry powder. I like quite a spicy one. A teaspoon of coriander and half a teaspoon of turmeric. We're just gonna add that in. If you really wanted to get fancy, you could actually fry the spices in some butter to toast them and get all those flavors nicely infused. Then I've got a handful of coriander. Coriander's not like parsley, the stalks are actually really flavorful, so I'm gonna just crunch this all up into a little ball. And finally chop them. Pop that coriander in there. For a little bit of acidity, we're gonna put our lemon in. I've used zest in the other mayos, so I'm just gonna leave the zest out and go straight for the juice with this one. That's about a tablespoon of good fresh lemon juice. Now, curry often does well with a little bit of sweetness, but obviously we can't add raisins or brown sugar to anything, so I'm just gonna add in another tiny little sprinkle of xylitol, just to take the edge off and cut that acidity nicely. If you wanted to take it a step further, when you're frying off your spices, you can actually add in some onion, some garlic, and some ginger, and fry that like until it's nice and caramelized. And then when you mix it into the mayo, all that flavor will infuse. But there we go, that's curry mayo. Now, this mayo, if you add in a tiny bit of yogurt, you can use it for coronation dressing on a chicken cracker. So now I've got curry mayo, homemade tartar sauce, and homemade wasabi lime mayo. They're all delicious. They will each keep for about 2 weeks in the fridge. I'm gonna pack these away and decide what I'm gonna put them on.